Shalom, shalom. This is Restoring the Connection, the journey on our way to being closer to the Most High. And we're going to be looking at the fourth commandment on today. The fourth commandment. And it's chapter 20 in Exodus, verse 8. And it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah our Elohim. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger, who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor the Sabbath. So the Sabbath, or the Shabbat, is from Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown. This is the time where we're supposed to rest. This is the time where we fellowship, we come together to praise and worship the Most High, and we rest, especially our minds, because we're not even supposed to carry around or think about our things that burdens us. Anything burdensome, we're supposed to sit down during that time period. But the system we're in, the beast system we're in, taught us that Friday night to Saturday night is the time we're supposed to party, the time we're supposed to get some overtime, the time we're supposed to smoke, drink, gamble, get up with our friends and family, and do whatever it is that we want to do, right? That's the time period. Meanwhile, the next day, which is Sunday, which is a whole nother discussion, is the day they told us that's the day we're supposed to go worship the Lord, right? Which some people would say, how did things change like that, if that's the case? Well, years after the apostles had passed, right, the Romans hijacked the faith, fused it with their paganisms, then started having council meetings. And in these council meetings about our faith, they wouldn't allow us in, and they started making decisions. And one of the decisions was to ban the Sabbath and to now change and uphold Sunday, right? Partially in reference to their sun gods. Okay, and they had penalties if you did not follow that. Now, throughout generations and generations, and especially with wars and colonizations, most of our people don't even know this history. They don't even teach this in the seminaries most of the time. But as we're reading the actual text, it says, remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do your work, for the seventh day is the Sabbath to Yah our Elohim. All right. So nowhere in the scriptures are you going to see the Most High telling us to reverence Sunday. You can look on your calendar on your phone, or if you got a calendar in your house. And even the people that made your calendars know what's the first day of the week and what's the seventh day of the week. On your calendar, it'll show Saturday, what they call Saturday, the Shabbat, is the seventh day. And Sunday is the beginning of the week. Okay. Now, you know what? We're going to go to Exodus. Let's get some more Bible on it. Exodus chapter 23. Exodus chapter 23. And we're going to start at verse 10. And it says, 6 years you shall sow your land and gather it in produce. But the seventh year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, because 7 is a number of completion. And what they leave, the beasts of the field may eat. In like manner you shall do with your vineyard and your olive grove. Verse 12, 6 days you shall work, and on the seventh day you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son of your female servant and the stranger may be refreshed. See, the Most High knew what we needed. And in this beast system, this system wants to keep us like the hamsters on the wheel, right? Constantly running after what don't satisfy. Okay? You work just to have enough to go back to work. Meanwhile, you'll work yourself to death, literally. And in that, it takes your focus off where it should be, which is on Yah, right? And we get so boggled down with the things of the day that we don't even take time to rest and reflect. And we definitely don't even take time to fellowship amongst other believers. So therefore, we're spiritually empty. And then we get filled up with all types of wickedness throughout our days, throughout our weeks. And then it's like being on a bad diet. And if you're on a bad diet long enough, you're going to be unhealthy. And that's what we got. We got a bunch of people, a bunch of us walking around bad diets, right? But that Sabbath day was to be kept holy, be kept set apart, especially just for the Most High. That's the day we should be seeking him every day. Should be seeking to hear from him. But that Sabbath day should be a day you definitely like, okay, yeah, I'm going to hear from the Most High today. Right? With expectation, like, Father, this whole week been stressful, but thank you for this Shabbat that I need where I can turn everything else off. I can take time out from this beast system. Now, I know, some of us in this system, you have to work right now, Friday nights to Saturday nights, right? So one guy gave an encouragement years ago. He said, if that's the case, then on those days, pack your lunch so you don't buy, because you're not supposed to buy or sell on the Shabbat. And then during that day, all you focus your mind on is the Most High, on his word. Have some good songs in your heart, right? It's to purpose your mind, because I understand in this wicked captivity, some of us have to work, right? And so even in that, I give an encouragement to say, you know what? Keep it to the best of your ability. Now, I'm not saying go volunteer for some overtime or go volunteer to go and try to make some side money when you didn't necessarily have to, right? But I understand what we go through in this captivity. I have one more verse. We're going to keep it in Exodus. We're in the Torah. Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. Watch this. It says, and Yah spoke to Moses, saying, speak also to the children of Israel, saying, we're in Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. And Yah spoke to Moses, saying, speak also to the children of Yasharel, saying, surely my Sabbaths you shall keep. Watch this. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I, Yah, who sanctifies you. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy to you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. For whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among his people. Work shall be done for 6 days, but the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yah. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign. It is a sign between me and the children of Yasharel forever. For in 6 days Yah made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. One of the reasons the Sabbath really don't get talked about much, especially in religious circles, especially like in the church, it's a sign between the Most High and us, his people, of the true children of Yasharel, right? The blacks that was scattered throughout the four corners of the world, right? And through different slaveries, transatlantic slave, the sub-Saharan slave trade, so on and so forth, the diaspora. If we were to keep this as a whole, for one, people would have to start asking, why do those people keep it? It would be a marker that, wait, them people must be those people. And then there's a verse where the Most High talks about, if my people were called by my name would humble themselves, repent from their sins, and turn from their wicked ways, then I would hear from heaven and heal their land. Right? So if we all started keeping the Sabbath, we ain't on one accord at all, even in this awakening, but we would all be on one accord, at least in mindset, that on that day, that's the day we serve Yah and separate ourselves from this beast system. All right. And here go a response to one of these false teachings that get taught. This is one of the false teachings I heard one of these pastors say. He said, Jesus, right, is master of the Sabbath. And because I rest in Jesus, that's how I keep the Sabbath. And that is a bold-faced lie. Because to be a follower of the Messiah, Yahusha, or Yahushai, that meant to take on the mindset, the ideologies, the practices, and literally to walk how they walked. He said, I'm the way. That's what we would call. We never called Christians. We was called the way. That Christian was a derogatory term. And they weren't even the first people to call Christians. They was following Serapis Christos, but that's a whole nother discussion. The Messiah himself kept the Sabbath. He was the walking Torah. Never broke a law. He says, I didn't come to do away with the law, but to fulfill it. He fulfilled the priesthood. We don't do no more sacrifices. We don't go to a high priest because he is the high priest. But he didn't come to do away with the Most High Sabbath. He came to show this is how you actually keep it, right? If you study the life of Yahushua, he never did away with no commandments. Matter of fact, he gave understanding, right? But my people perish for a lack of knowledge, what the Most High say. But it ain't that they just perish for it. They reject it. It's a willful ignorance. It's a willful ignorance, right? But we are to keep the Sabbath, okay? Keep the Shabbat. This is part of a covenant. This is part of an agreement. It is a sign. People always looking for signs. You want a sign? Keep the Shabbat. That's a sign. That's a weekly sign. Matter of fact, the Sabbath is a feast day, right? Throughout the script, well, not throughout the scriptures. In the scriptures, it gives us Yah's days that'll be set apart, right? Nowadays, we would call them holidays. So I'm going to just use that term for the everyday person. The Most High has his own holidays, right? That most people never heard of. And these holidays that the world tells us to remember are nowhere to be found in the Bible. Matter of fact, they're anti-scripture. They're pagan. Yet when we go to the churches, and I'm singling it out, to the churches, all right, they have us practicing these holidays. But when you bring up the holy days that's in the scriptures, they reject that. When you say, hey, what are we doing here on a Sunday when the scriptures say we're supposed to be here on the Shabbat, they reject that. Matter of fact, they'll say, this is why they say, they believe that Yahushua, who they call Jesus, rose on a Sunday. But he said, I'll be in the belly of the beast. I'll be in the grave like Jonah was in the belly of the fish. Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. So if Yahushua died on a Friday night and rose early Sunday morning, Friday night to Saturday morning is one morning. Saturday night, 2 nights, Sunday morning, 2 mornings. That don't fit by their math. No, more accurately, he died on a Wednesday and rose on the Shabbat, right? They say, well, Mary came on the first day of the week, on the Sunday. Yeah, first day of the week. Yeah, she came because it was customary that you wouldn't leave the house on the Shabbat. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. Honor the Sabbath, keep it holy. We're going to restore this connection, right? We are journeying so we can hear from the Most High, because if you look around, the signs of the times is all around us, right? And we want to be as close as possible to the creator of heaven and earth, right? As these things unravel, because we want to be on the right side of the sword, because the sword is coming. Famine, pestilence, right? Earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars, and all types of madness. You can see it. Only people that can't see it is those that don't want to see it, right? Just willfully blind, And Satan has blinded the mind of a lot. I don't discount that. But people, please, let's start incorporating, and it's a practice, right? I don't even always keep it perfect. Just keep it out all the way a buck. But let's purpose our minds to say, you know what? This Sabbath, Father, I'm going to do my best to purpose in my heart to just please you. Right? Let this day, let this time period be about you. Let it be about you. And I want to hear from you. Let that be the prayer. I want to hear from you. Anything in me that's not of you, remove it. And if there's something that's missing, please place it in me. We're restoring our connection because we want to get close to the Most High before it's too late. I love y'all. Be blessed. Shalom.